Brace yourselves, because fresh satellite visuals could drop at any second. Out of countless digital breadcrumbs across the web, they miraculously hit the absolute jackpot. Watching those clips a couple of weeks back absolutely floored me, completely shattering my previous understanding of the situation. Ultimately, you will probably witness cash moving straight out of an account managed directly by her relatives or their designated legal proxy. Imagine the sheer devastation inflicted upon her loved ones. Watching a parent get impersonated, ridiculed, and digitally manipulated for low-budget amusement is beyond heartbreaking. Personally, I highly doubt this matriarch was actually abducted. Her own daughter and the man she married were the absolute last pair to catch her breathing. Her daughter's husband supposedly drove the woman back to her residence. Yet, what if that entire drop-off story was a total fabrication? Imagine if a massive dispute erupted indoors. Tensions flared completely out of control, and one of those two close relatives made a sudden, fatal move that ultimately cost this beloved matriarch her life. Perhaps they orchestrated a massive cover-up to frame this as a standard disappearance, making the entire mystery hinge completely on a piece of surveillance tape that investigators nearly missed forever. Ms. Nancy Guthrie, who birthed a famous morning television host, vanished into thin air, while detectives continue frantically assembling the bizarre puzzle pieces. This evening, our investigative team uncovered that a fresh batch of crucial security tapes could be dropping very shortly. Detectives originally believed the property lacked cameras, active cloud plans, or any saved clips. Suddenly, the search giant pulled off an absolute miracle. Sifting through a colossal mountain of digital archives, the internet behemoth successfully extracted visual proof from the exact evening she vanished. The astonishing discoveries simply continued. Another tape captured on January 11th features an identical suspect, recognizable by his distinct posture, stride, and wardrobe, silently stalking the perimeter of her property. That was no coincidence. He was actively scouting. Discovering that prior timeline instantly expands the investigative scope, bringing mobile ping logs, porch lenses, and countless alternative digital tracks from that exact period into play. Rumors suggest a formal removal campaign has kicked off, directly aiming at a prominent individual tied to this massive scandal, sparking deep suspicions regarding early cover-ups and hidden truths. What makes this entire ordeal truly mind-blowing is the miraculous way detectives are actually finding these hidden clues. That security lens mounted on her residence supposedly lacked a paid service plan and might have actually been completely deactivated. Nevertheless, the massive search corporation miraculously extracted crystal-clear media files straight out of their deep archives. That revelation completely flips the script for detectives. Specialists note that massive digital conglomerates hoard gigantic archives across scattered networks, meaning finding one exact file demands serious patience. This perfectly clarifies why all the puzzle pieces didn't just magically appear overnight. Specialists are currently working around the clock to pinpoint and secure these crucial media files. Electronic breadcrumbs will likely blow this mystery wide open. That could mean resurrected visual feeds, hidden cryptocurrency ledgers, or GPS coordinates pinning a distinct suspect to a precise moment. Teams are rushing frantically right now to salvage and lock down extra tape before it vanishes permanently. Time is running out to save those files, turning sheer velocity into the most vital element of this entire hunt. Finding these recordings is nothing short of miraculous, and it could easily serve as the ultimate breakthrough this massive manhunt needs. Rescued without any paid cloud plan and extracted from a supposedly dead gadget. This visual proof forces us to ask one glaring thing: should extra recordings exist? Why keep them hidden? Veteran policing insiders provide a remarkably simple answer. Detectives play a highly calculated game regarding exactly what they reveal to the press. They drop that first visual file with a clear motive, broadcasting the suspect's face outward purely to spark civilian tips. Conversely, holding on to any fresh clips keeps their true value safely guarded by the tactical team. It requires a ridiculously fragile tightrope walk. Detectives constantly measure the benefits of crowdsourcing hints against the massive risk of spooking their primary target or ruining fresh trails entirely. Insider experts confirm this approach represents basic tactical protocol rather than some shady cover-up operation. Whenever a clue hits the mainstream media, it stems from intense strategic planning rather than just casual transparency. Our broadcast network recently discovered that specialists are scrambling to extract and safeguard even more hidden visual records right now. Seeing those fresh tapes broadcasted openly hinges entirely upon where the upcoming detective work leads over the next few days. Detectives refuse to sit idle. They keep yanking on every possible string, and those electronic footprints are finally paying off big time. Analyzing mobile pings handed them their very first breakthrough. A courier supposedly parked at the matriarch's property on several distinct occasions, and cops caught that strange routine by scanning a massive net of device signals pinging around her neighborhood during the crucial disappearance timeframe. That specific courier faced questioning before getting released. A handful of local neighbors sparked massive suspicion after their mobile trackers revealed strange dawn activities, forcing cops to pull them in for intense grilling. Authorities let them walk after hearing their alibis. Yet this massive manhunt has barely begun. Insiders tied to the probe confirmed this critical detail. The feds are ruthlessly tearing through local wireless networks and mobile pings. Their primary target is pinpointing exact signal, aiming to figure out more than just who showed up. They want exact timestamps and locations by linking those gadgets directly to neighborhood transmission masts. Casting a massive dragnet was entirely intentional. Any neighborhood naturally generates countless digital footprints, explaining exactly why detectives have already detained and interrogated several suspects. Detectives continue ruthlessly whittling down that massive roster. Blending this digital footprint with neighborhood security tapes remains the ultimate priority right now. As informants insist these tactics remain in full swing, that extortion letter supposedly featured a cryptocurrency wallet, which might easily become the absolute dumbest and most trackable blunder any criminal could commit. This is exactly how detectives dismantle these digital puzzles. The moment digital cash hits that specific account, that deposit instantly lights up the public ledger, yet the opening payment barely scratches the surface. Everything hinges on the subsequent moves, specifically tracking the money bouncing away from the extortion drop. The million-dollar mystery revolves around spotting historical ties between that wallet and previous underworld deals. Any matches instantly trigger massive alarms while offering a direct bridge to the culprit. Yet the absolute biggest crack in these mysteries almost always happens during the final payout. Contrary to popular belief, virtual money remains incredibly difficult to spend. Eventually, crooks must inevitably swap it back into regular fiat money. Such transactions require an established virtual trading platform. This is exactly where the digital footprints solidify. These brokers must legally harvest and authenticate client identities, including phone numbers, real identities, and banking credentials. Whenever stolen cash hits these regulated platforms, law enforcement instantly scores incredibly solid clues. Cybercrime veterans deeply versed in similar mysteries claim this liquidation phase usually cracks the entire case wide open. Criminals find it virtually impossible to completely shut down this revealing digital gateway. As cyber clues mount, detectives are simultaneously pivoting toward classic old-school detective work. The actual crime scene insider property, earlier walkthrough video reveals a sleeping area looking perfectly untouched. Not a single item was tossed or obviously moved. However, seasoned crime scene technicians know hidden clues always linger. Every material inside that room, including the wooden planks, woven carpets, and blankets, offers incredibly unique scientific possibilities. Rigid, sleek, impenetrable finishes like timber or cement prove incredibly useful for specialized dusting methods. A specialized technique called static electricity lifting effortlessly extracts microscopic clues. This includes shoe tracks pulled off flat floors with stunning accuracy. Everything relies entirely on immediate lockdown protocols. Though, science teams stress that the exact second suspicious activity gets spotted near a house, the inside must become an utterly restricted zone right away. Anyone crossing that threshold threatens to ruin or destroy absolutely vital clues. Veterans boasting years of crime scene processing knowledge explain this harsh truth. A location's raw state during initial discovery, prior to being trampled or wiped down, or tampered with in any capacity, heavily dictates exactly what biological traces survive. The superficial appearance of that sleeping quarter barely scratches the surface. Exactly what mysteries those planks, carpets, and sheets conceal remains the ultimate puzzle. Lab technicians are desperately trying to crack this. The golden hour for biological clues probably vanished, representing a massive blow to the entire manhunt. Security cameras recorded a shady figure creeping around the yard, right by the main door. Most people completely overlook how the terrain in that video was basically split into distinct geographical squares. These are the exact quadrants lab units rely on to meticulously gather microscopic debris and boot tracks. If patrolmen had locked down that outdoor perimeter instantly, technicians might have deployed static extraction tools to salvage shoe imprints off the dirt, matching them against the video reel second by second. It offered a slim yet incredibly solid chance. Unfortunately, that golden opportunity seems totally gone now. After removing the tape and letting people walk around, those specific clues vanish forever. A recurring debate tearing through internet sleuth communities centers entirely around the suspected crimson stains spotted near the porch. Let's focus on this detail. Could specific anticoagulant pills genuinely alter a hemorrhage's visual signature? Outside crime scene specialists insist this remains a highly valid theory. Anticoagulant prescriptions represent a heavily researched factor in modern crime laboratories. Blood doesn't just lie there. Its exact splatter and spread dictate the entire trajectory of a crime scene analysis. Seasoned experts always weigh this variable heavily, especially when considering the specific medical background of someone like Miss Guthrie. Whatever tangible clues are left behind absolutely dominate the focus of detectives pushing this high-stakes inquiry forward. A seemingly minor biological clue right near the victim's front porch has suddenly emerged as the absolute most critical piece of the puzzle. Scientific studies examining common prescription blood thinners, particularly popular daily anticoagulants, prove that taking these drugs completely fails to alter the way splatter patterns physically look on the ground. Therefore, even though her personal medical records highlight her general physical state, they frankly offer zero impact on how detectives read those crimson stains. The one detail changing everything is whether those drops held oxygen. Crime lab specialists staring at the porch spatter noticed distinct features pointing directly toward an oxygenated spray. This specific classification matters immensely. Fluid expelled forcefully from the airways catches air mid-flight, leaving behind a wildly unique visual signature that looks nothing like a standard cut on an extremity. Regular drips crash down as heavy, deep red pools that slowly divide into clear plasma. Meanwhile, oxygenated spray completely flips the script by trapping microscopic air pockets, resulting in a pale, bubbly, and ghost-like ring texture. Should laboratory tests officially verify those foamy textures at the property, detectives will know exactly what kind of trauma occurred and where. That revelation alone would instantly redirect the entire trajectory of their manhunt. People constantly ask the same thing. Is it possible those porch stains simply happened when someone aggressively grabbed her arm while walking inside? Past snapshots of the elderly woman clearly display the classic tissue thinning associated with advanced age, especially across her knuckles, which means just brushing against a hard surface could leave massive dark bruises. Yet seasoned examiners insist that superficial damage leaves completely different traces. A basic scrape bleeds out in heavy, concentrated spots. It absolutely refuses to form the foamy, bubbly outlines that technicians are catching in those driveway snapshots. Those trapped air pockets heavily imply a blow to the face or throat, shutting down any rumors about a clumsy, accidental stumble. Because these leaked pictures lack official documentation, carving theories into stone is impossible. However, just by analyzing the naked visuals, the current scene screams of a violent struggle rather than a fragile grandmother merely bumping her elbow against a doorframe. While detectives grind away at this mystery, the police department dropped an urgent public warning that desperately needs amplification. Authorities are begging amateur sleuths to stop jamming their phone lines with wild guesses, armchair detective work, and baseless rumors. Chasing down internet ghost stories drains manpower and derails actual detective work. Unless you personally witnessed hard facts unfold, cops need you to stay off the phones. A massive internet rumor insists the elderly woman never left her property by force, casting heavy doubt directly onto her immediate inner circle, bringing up terrifying ideas that this entire kidnapping was faked just to cover up a domestic tragedy indoors. Is anyone else utterly obsessed with Nancy Guthrie? That leaked Ring camera footage seriously feels like a bad movie set. Guys, we all know the government plays dirty tricks. Honestly, my gut is absolutely screaming about this entire bizarre narrative. Anyone who has ever hung out with seniors can tell you that an 84-year-old lady having supper at 9:30 in the evening is pure science fiction. Stuff like that literally hasn't occurred once in human history. Usually, I completely brush off crazy internet conspiracies. Sure, they make for fun reading, But I never buy into the hype until some wildly unhinged comment on my last video suggested she might possess supernatural travel abilities. Yeah. The internet genuinely thinks we lost her simply because she phased through time and space. We're talking absolute science fiction thriller energy here. Perhaps she blinked into an alternate dimension, or maybe she just popped over to France. Who even knows at this point? Hearing that made me crack up immediately since it sounds beyond ridiculous on paper. However, after letting the idea simmer in my brain, I started wondering, seriously, what if she actually did vanish into thin air? Absolutely zero factual data backs up these wild sci-fi claims, and our network strictly refuses to validate them, yet it perfectly highlights the ridiculous noise that exhausted detectives are begging citizens to keep away from their phone banks. This proves how massive media circuses generate so much trash data that filtering through the nonsense becomes harder than finding real clues. The police are ignoring the circus to hone in on hard facts, security camera tapes, mobile tower pings, and rock-solid biological findings. Authorities already took time to firmly crush one major rumor. The immediate relatives have officially been cleared. Lie detector tests came back clean, and the cops even handed back a confiscated car. So why is the rumor mill still spinning out of control? Psychologists blame a cognitive glitch known as proportionality bias. Whenever massive tragedies strike, our brains desperately hunt for massive reasons behind them. A colossal public mystery practically begs for a colossal conspiracy. Except real life rarely plays out like a movie script. Occasionally, someone vanishes purely because of terrible luck. Just a completely chance meeting. Maybe just a lone wolf or a duo calling the shots. Zero master plans needed here. Senseless chaos just terrifies us because it strips away our illusion of safety. Therefore, our imagination dreams up intricate webs of deceit. During an ongoing manhunt, this wild guesswork actually pulls attention away from solid facts. Once you filter out the endless online chatter, the physical clues here point down one very obvious path. Profilers heavily lean toward an incredibly simple endgame, fueled by classic triggers like greed or obsession, hitting Miss Guthrie exactly how detectives have seen 1,000 times before. Putting mental gymnastics aside, the actual hard forensics utterly crush those wild internet fantasies. Insiders close to the probe revealed her heart monitor registered clear beats near 2 in the morning. Incredible. This absolutely proves she made it back indoors post-dinner and was breathing right there in her own house. Moments later, security cameras caught a shadowy figure lurking on the property. Tech giants aren't rigging this stuff. That video is entirely genuine. Someone was absolutely trespassing. Just taking those twin pillars of proof, the clinical heart logs and the unbiased camera reels, we know she was trapped inside while a stranger prowled the perimeter at the exact same time. We are not guessing here. These are cold, hard facts. Detectives always remind us that whenever someone vanishes, the inner circle immediately gets grilled by the book. They ran the gauntlet this time around. And those loved ones passed with flying colors? The clues clearly aim at an outsider, not a relative. Both the feds and town cops made it crystal clear. Relatives are totally off the hook. Blaming the family holds zero water. Still, the gossip survives, and figuring out the reason is pretty revealing. Armchair detectives are piecing together shattered glass, making massive leaps from tiny shards. Think of those blindfolded guys trying to describe a rhino by just petting it. A guy grabs the horn, someone else holds a hoof. Another pats the hide. Everybody screams a unique answer, not out of stupidity, but simply due to massive blind spots. That perfectly captures the nightmare of watching this mystery unfold from the couch. Police strictly bottleneck the flow of secrets, practically guaranteeing the crowd only ever gets half the story. Separating valuable community tips from toxic trash hinges on a single rule. You have to cling to proven reality instead of plugging holes with wild guesses. Certain internet sleuths stared at that porch video, screaming it was faked by dirty government agents pushing a hidden agenda. Such intense paranoia stems from a profound hatred of authority, a mindset that is incredibly widespread nowadays. However, psychologists highlight a totally fascinating angle here. Whenever humans stare at missing puzzle pieces, they subconsciously color them in using their own past traumas. A guy who previously clashed with City Hall will automatically assume the feds are lying. Anybody surviving a toxic household will instantly blame the victim's relatives. Basically, these wild theories expose the storyteller's baggage far more than the actual crime scene. Plus, there is a deep mental craving involved. Folks who track viral murders with unshakable arrogance, swearing they solve the riddle despite zero inside access, desperately need to feel in control of a terrifying world. Faking total confidence feels warmer than admitting we are clueless, even if it is completely delusional. Meanwhile, the real clues tell a basic story. Clinically confirmed heart metrics, securely sourced driveway videos, and official police transcripts all weave one unified narrative. Any bizarre plot involving corrupt agents or evil husbands requires deleting all that proof just to survive. You cannot call that smart logic. It is just blind arrogance plugging holes with pure delusion, relying strictly on gut feelings. Assuming your random hunches beat actual forensic reports pushes this gossip from annoying right into dangerous territory. You see this toxic shift perfectly in all the ghost hunting garbage flooding social feeds lately. A viral clip claims some cheap spirit box actually recorded Miss Guthrie speaking from the grave, allegedly delivering a spooky final goodbye to her kids. Let us be absolutely brutal here. That ghost story holds zero scientific validity. Cold hard cash totaling over $1 million is waiting for anyone who can finally crack this mystery. The bounty remains on the table. So-called clairvoyants and armchair detectives need to take their solid leads straight to federal agents instead of chasing clout on the internet. Broadcasting these wild guesses targets the absolute worst demographic imaginable, preying directly on desperately traumatized relatives. Dressing up random radio static as messages from the beyond goes way beyond a sick joke, as it inflicts severe emotional damage on actual human beings. Detectives and psychological professionals agree completely on this issue, knowing that solving this puzzle requires hard data trails, rigorous lab work, and factual witness accounts. Rather than relying on spooky gadgets completely ignored by modern policing, this investigation commands maximum respect, and Miss Guthrie's relatives absolutely require the exact same courtesy. A massive gap exists between innocently wondering what happened and producing media that brutally tortures an already devastated household. Several trending viral videos obliterate that boundary entirely, because faking supernatural chats with a vanished woman is hardly a hypothesis. That garbage has zero detective value, serving only as a cruel lie designed to leech off folks drowning in unimaginable misery. Psychologists point out how these creators desperately crave guru status, hoping to elevate their egos by pretending they hold exclusive secrets. These grifters basically hijack pure grief just to boost their own subscriber counts. Whenever Miss Guthrie's inner circle inevitably stumbles across these toxic uploads, seeing their personal nightmare twisted into cheap clickbait inflicts a level of agony that defies verbal description. Trusting your gut absolutely remains a valid human survival mechanism when evaluating the world around you. However, natural wariness has absolutely nothing in common with peddling fabricated facts just to farm views off somebody else's tragedy. Shifting gears, a different viral rumor challenges the timeline of Miss Guthrie's night out, debating if an older woman would genuinely eat supper at such a late hour. Several internet assumptions regarding this mystery dive so deep into fiction that addressing them feels utterly ridiculous. Yet they perfectly highlight how wildly imaginations run when official details remain locked down. A particular thread argued that Miss Guthrie's late meal schedule simply didn't match her demographic. Frankly, dining preferences completely depend on the individual, meaning a late supper indicates absolutely zero suspicious activity. Someone else literally proposed she somehow magically blinked across space, which is sheer lunacy we can immediately toss in the trash. While these wild ideas might sound hilarious initially, they expose a massive issue, since every viral lie dumps useless clutter onto an incredibly difficult manhunt. Hotline switchboards crash, police manpower drains away, and grieving relatives watch their absolute worst nightmare mutate into trashy content. You see the exact same strategy everywhere, as these folks always start with a fake apology. They claim they hate wearing tinfoil hats right before dumping a massive pile of completely unsubstantiated nonsense onto their followers, utilizing that exact deceptive phrasing to manufacture an aura of truth around absolute garbage. Next up is the massive rumor accusing a documentary production team of teaming up with Puma County deputies during the active search. This juicy tidbit packs enough drama to go viral instantly, making it crucial that we cross-check it against established truths rather than swallowing the bait. A prominent piece of internet chatter insists that camera operators supposedly stationed nearby to document regional police work, actually played a shadowy role in the events leading up to this vanishing. That specific narrative heavily implies the directors or the cops purposely stirred up chaos just to score better ratings. Not a single shred of proof backs up this ludicrous idea. Throw that idea right onto the pile with the rest of the garbage. As it might be an inventive script but lacks any connection to the confirmed timeline, this mystery consistently breeds a tidal wave of amateur sleuthing every single morning, ranging from incredibly sharp observations to complete madness. Telling the difference is vital since the police hotline was strictly built to process rock-solid clues. Even with pure intentions, your personal guesses do not belong on that switchboard because they bog down detectives and bury the actual smoking guns. The only thing that truly counts is pushing the Nancy Guthrie manhunt forward while keeping everyday citizens locked in on the absolute truth. NCC News must also pause to pay profound respects to Nassau County Police Lieutenant Michael Shea, who tragically perished while serving his community, leaving behind his beloved wife Ingrid. This absolute legend paid the ultimate price, ensuring his legacy will echo through eternity. The NCC News Desk promises to monitor every confirmed breakthrough and scientific discovery surrounding this tragedy, so we appreciate you tuning in. Wrapping up this broadcast for NCC News, Jim Parker, reminding you to keep your eyes peeled, stick to the facts, and never stop demanding justice. This story reminds us that in moments of fear and uncertainty, truth matters more than noise. When a family is already carrying unbearable pain, rumors, reckless theories, and attention-seeking content do not help. They deepen the wounds. Real compassion means choosing restraint, respecting facts, and remembering that behind every headline is a real human life, a real family, and real grief. It also teaches us the value of responsibility in the digital age. Not every opinion deserves to be shared, and not every suspicion deserves a microphone. When people spread unverified claims, they can distract investigators, mislead the public, and cause lasting emotional harm to innocent loved ones. Wisdom is not speaking the loudest. Wisdom is knowing when to stay careful, patient, and humane. Most of all, this content is a powerful reminder that justice is built on evidence, disciplina, and integrity. Truth is often slower than gossip, but it is stronger. As viewers, creators, and members of a community, we should choose empathy over entertainment, facts over fantasy, and dignity over sensationalism. In a world driven by clicks and chaos, the most meaningful act is to protect the truth and honor the suffering of others with respect.